For years, whenever someone asked the question, I want to try Linux, where should I start? The answer came almost automatically, Ubuntu. It didn't matter who was asking. A student with an old laptop, a developer curious about open source, a Windows user frustrated with updates, a Mac user tired of paying premium prices. The answer was the same: install Ubuntu. That recommendation became so common that it stopped being advice and started becoming a reflex. But in 2026, we need to have an uncomfortable conversation. Maybe it's time to stop recommending Ubuntu to beginners. This isn't about hate. It's not about dismissing everything Ubuntu has done. Ubuntu played a massive role in making Linux accessible to normal people. It introduced polished installers, better hardware detection, a predictable release cycle, and a recognizable brand. For many of us, Ubuntu was the first Linux distribution we ever installed. It was the bridge from curiosity to confidence. But what worked in 2008 doesn't automatically work in 2026. The Linux ecosystem has evolved. User expectations have evolved. And Ubuntu itself has changed in ways that don't always serve beginners the way it once did. When someone new approaches Linux, they are not just installing an operating system. They are entering a completely different philosophy of computing. They are leaving behind the familiar structure of Windows or Mac OS and stepping into something community-driven, modular, and often opinionated. That transition is fragile. The first experience matters more than anything else. If it feels confusing, slow, inconsistent, or restrictive, the beginner doesn't blame themselves. They blame Linux, and often they never come back. Ubuntu today carries a lot of baggage that beginners don't understand but quickly feel. The most obvious example is Snap. On paper, Snap packages sound great. They are containerized, secure, and distribution agnostic. Developers can package once and deploy everywhere. But the beginner doesn't care about packaging philosophy. They care about opening Firefox and wondering why it takes longer to launch than it did on Windows. They care about disk usage. They care about startup delays. They care about inconsistent theming. When an app feels slower or visually different from the rest of the system, they don't analyze the technical reason. They just think Linux feels unpolished. Then there's the software center experience. A beginner expects something straightforward: search, click, install. But in Ubuntu, the software store sometimes mixes Snap and traditional packages in ways that aren't obvious. A beginner may install a Snap without even knowing what it is. They may encounter permission quirks or integration oddities. They may search online for solutions and find explanations full of terminology they've never heard before. Instead of simplicity, they encounter complexity disguised as simplicity. Another issue is the default desktop environment, Gnome. Gnome is powerful and elegant in its own design philosophy. But it is not necessarily beginner-friendly in the way many people assume. Someone coming from Windows expects a taskbar, a visible system tray, straightforward minimize and maximize behavior, and desktop icons that behave predictably. Gnome does not prioritize these conventions. It prioritizes workflow minimalism. It hides certain controls. It encourages keyboard shortcuts and workspaces. For experienced users, this can be liberating. For beginners, it can feel alien. And what happens when a beginner wants to change something small? Maybe they want to move the dock. Maybe they want a traditional start menu layout. Maybe they want to tweak themes. Suddenly, they are introduced to Gnome extensions. Extensions can break between updates. Some are not actively maintained. Beginners are told to install tools like Gnome tweaks. Now they are modifying their desktop environment just to make it feel familiar. Instead of a smooth transition, they are patching their system on day one. Contrast that with some modern beginner-focused distributions that deliberately mimic Windows layouts. Linux Mint, for example, presents a traditional taskbar, system tray, and start menu-style interface out of the box. Zorin OS goes even further, offering layout presets designed to feel instantly familiar. These distributions recognize a simple truth: beginners are not looking for a design revolution. They are looking for stability and familiarity while they learn something new. Ubuntu used to represent that stability. But today, it often feels like a distribution that serves Canonical's strategic goals first and beginners second. Snap integration is deeply embedded. Some applications are Snap only by default. Removing Snap entirely is possible, but not trivial for someone who just installed Linux for the first time. When beginners realize that parts of their system are tightly controlled by decisions they don't understand, they may feel locked in rather than empowered. Another point rarely discussed is performance on older hardware. Many beginners turn to Linux because they have an aging laptop that struggles with Windows 11. They hear that Linux is lightweight, they install Ubuntu, expecting a dramatic improvement. But Gnome, combined with Snap overhead and background services, can still feel heavy on older systems. The performance difference isn't always as dramatic as they imagined. Meanwhile, distributions with lighter desktop environments like XFCE or Cinnamon might deliver a more noticeable improvement with less configuration. Let's talk about updates. Ubuntu's LTS releases are praised for long-term support, which sounds reassuring to beginners. But LTS also means older software versions by design. A beginner might search for a tutorial and discover that commands or screenshots don't match their version. Or they might want a newer version of an application and learn about PPAs. Now they're adding third-party repositories, managing keys, and reading warnings about stability. For someone who just wanted to try Linux, this becomes overwhelming very quickly. On the flip side, non-LTS releases update more frequently but introduce their own risks. Beginners may not understand the difference between LTS and non-LTS. They may install whatever is on the website and later realize support cycles are shorter than expected. That confusion is rarely addressed clearly during installation. There's also the community perception issue. Ubuntu forums and documentation are vast, but they are also filled with years of legacy information. Beginners often find outdated answers. They try commands that no longer apply. They follow advice that references older versions. The ecosystem is so large that finding the right answer can feel like navigating a maze. Meanwhile, the Linux world has diversified beautifully. There are distributions that focus purely on beginner experience. There are those that emphasize aesthetics, those that prioritize performance, and those that aim for enterprise stability. Ubuntu is no longer the only polished, beginner-accessible option. In many ways, it has become just one choice among many. And if that's the case, we should stop pretending it is automatically the best first choice. Recommending Ubuntu to beginners has become a habit rather than a thoughtful decision. It's easy, it's familiar. It's what we've always said. But beginners deserve recommendations tailored to their needs. Are they coming from Windows? Maybe suggest something with a traditional layout. Are they using very old hardware? Maybe recommend a lightweight distribution. Are they curious about gaming? Maybe suggest a distribution known for smoother GPU driver integration and gaming tools. When we default to Ubuntu, we skip the conversation. We skip the questions, we skip the nuance. And in doing so, we sometimes set beginners up for friction they didn't need to experience. This doesn't mean Ubuntu is bad. It means it's not universally ideal. Ubuntu today feels more like a general-purpose, semi-enterprise distribution with strong cloud and server ambitions. Canonical invests heavily in enterprise partnerships, IoT, and cloud deployments. Those are important and impressive achievements. But the beginner desktop experience is no longer the clear center of gravity. If someone installs Ubuntu and everything works perfectly, that's fantastic. But if they encounter Snap-related confusion, GNOME workflow friction, or performance issues on older hardware, their first impression of Linux might be shaped by those pain points. And in 2026, we have alternatives that minimize those risks. The most responsible thing we can do as experienced Linux users is ask better questions before making recommendations. What do you use your computer for? What hardware do you have? What operating system are you coming from? What are you most nervous about? The answer to those questions might still be Ubuntu. But it might just as easily be something else. Linux is about choice. Ironically, always recommending Ubuntu undermines that principle. It reduces a rich ecosystem to a single default answer. Beginners deserve better than a reflex response. They deserve guidance. So maybe it's time to retire the automatic recommendation. Maybe it's time to stop saying, just install Ubuntu, and start saying, let's figure out what's right for you. Because the goal isn't to grow Ubuntu's user base. The goal is to help people have a positive first experience with Linux. And sometimes that experience begins somewhere else.